And I was like, oh, I'm DJing in Beirut. And he was like, what? Like, you're in law school. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, dude, gotta
pay for law school.
Gotta make money. Yeah, gotta make money. You know what I mean? And he was just like,
you're listening to Studio 22. Welcome to Studio 22. We're sitting with Farshad, aka E5quire, the man, the myth, the legend. He is a man of many talents, many skills, a lawyer, a DJ, entrepreneur, and just the kindest man alive. Thanks for coming on, bro.
It's because I know you guys. That's why. You guys are great people.
Likewise.
Great people know great people.
Yeah,
that's why.
And we met through great people. So
that's facts. Shout out to Morton.
Shout out to Morton. Dude, he's killing it right now too.
I know, dude. It's it's crazy because I think it was kind of right after we all met. Things started kind of taking off for him, and then it just got better and better and better.
Yeah.
And he's just killing the game, and I'm like so happy to see it.
Dude, it's amazing. The best. It is the best to see your friends win, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always happy when I see people do well. It's awesome and it's exciting, but when it's someone you care about and someone you love or someone you're rooting for, you know?
And it's even better when it's someone that's like actually been putting in the work.
Oh yeah.
And they like want it so bad. They've been putting into work and they're like, you're like, dude, you're just right. You're one phone call away. Like you got it. And then he finally gets that break and he's killing the game.
Dude, he'll play me new stuff in the car and I'll be like, can we hear that again? Can we hear that again? Can we hear that again? It's like annoying but it's so good. It's like,
he's good.
And I've been friends with Morton almost a decade now, man. And to see the evolution of his, how he creates and also him, like I've seen him try going into, the rap and R&B space and then he's gone into
that's how we met, by the way. Yeah. That's how me and Morton met.
Really?
So Morton, there's a guy by the name of Paul Campbell who works really close with him or has been working really close with him from back in the day. And he was telling me that Morton was trying to get into, the hip hop space and play some open format rooms. And he knew me as like the true open format guy. So I'd play some house rooms, like some really big house rooms, and I'd play some really like big hip hop where like people are like, yo, I've never heard you drop a hip hop set like that. So I met with Morton and we kind of, went over music and started kind of shooting the shit. And I was, helping him out as far as getting into the hip hop world. So to speak to your point, like he was that guy, like he was willing to become eclectic, for lack of a better term, and kind of just make whatever needs to work.
Absolutely. And that's what was so cool too, is like, he wasn't afraid to try.
Not at all.
He's never been afraid to try.
Not at all.
The craziest thing to me is now I've seen him step back into like what he originally came over
with.
here
What he wanted.
Exactly. So now it's like the sound he's creating is him, and it's coming straight from him, straight from the source. And he's killing it, man. But to that point too, like how long have you been a DJ?
I know it's so funny. So I'll give you kind of my spiel. For lack of a better term, I
just to preface this for the audience, for everyone, you have probably the biggest, most insane resume because I don't even know it. I'm like, dude, DJ, lawyer, owns a pizza shop, does it just goes on and on. Man.
I appreciate that. I wish that were true, but I'll give you kind of my rundown. I was in music. I started DJing really young, age of 13, if I'm not mistaken, 13. 14-ish. I started doing like college parties. There was a group of us. There was like 4 or 5 of us, my brother's friends actually, that were like, they were older than me by 4 years, and they were really good. And they kind of brought me under their wing, and they're like, we can teach this guy some stuff. So they taught me some stuff. I started on turntables and CDJs and kind of, the old school way of DJing where we had to take CDs with us or take turntables with us. And that's when Serato started coming out. So things started changing. I was doing.
What is Serato?
Serato's like whenever you see a DJ at a club, they're using that program, Serato. Basically, it's their music library that connects to the CDJ so they can play whatever's on their laptop.
Awesome.
Right? So they can pick songs.
Cool.
So I was, playing a bunch of shows, and fast forward, I was just, playing colleges and high schools and wedding. I mean, putting in the work, right? And started playing a couple of clubs. There was a spot in Newport. I don't know if you guys have ever been. It's called Woody's Wharf.
Heard of it? I grew up out there, so it's my stomping grounds, dude.
Yeah, we started Woody's Wharf.
No way.
So you probably went to Woody's when Woody's was packed.
Oh yeah.
I used to DJ Woody's when there were 3 people in there.
No way.
Literally, I would DJ for like Dennis Rodman and his wife and like her
shout out.
I know
chaperone.
I know her. Yeah, I know that family too. They're friends too.
Yeah. So like that's who I would DJ for, and then they would we'd end early and go home. Like there was nobody there.
Crazy.
One July 4th, mind you, I wasn't even 21 at the time. And the owners, I was like, listen, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I've never done any. I'm like a super ultra square. And so the owner at the time
didn't even let me give you a coffee today.
I try to stay away from coffee. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never had coffee. I definitely like if I want to, I'm not, but I just try as best not to. So
that's smart.
The owner of Woody's was like, listen, if I catch you with alcohol in your system here, like you're done. I'm never letting you back. And I was like, listen, put X's on my hands. I'm not going to drink. I'm just here to play music and go home. So he let me DJ. He was like, all right. So he let me DJ and I started DJing. I was like 15 and I was playing at Woody's Wharf.
Oh, okay.
One July 4th. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah. I was like, why would he, what are you talking about?
Yeah. You thought Woody's Wharf back. No, it was 18 years ago, dog.
Damn.
Like long time ago. I'm 34 now. So what is that? 19 years ago?
Yeah.
So
I was probably going when I was like 19. So I don't know. What was that, 12 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. So it was a long time ago.
Wow.
And we were playing one July 4th hit. I don't know what the hell happened. One July 4th hit. And the line was just out the back door. It was just like insane. And it was always two of us DJing at the same time in case someone needs to use the restroom. There's another DJ there.
Yeah.
And Woody's was crazy. Like we'd set up on like that little stage that wasn't even really a stage, like a table, like a booth. And that would make that the stage, quote unquote, right? So we DJ one July 4th, blows up. And then every Saturday from that point forth was like insane. Then the owners were like, yo, can you guys do Fridays too? And we're like, okay. So we took on Fridays. Fridays blew up. It was like the crowd from Saturdays found out that we were playing on Fridays and we're like, all right, we're coming on Fridays too. Then they were like, can you guys do Thursdays? And I was like, dude, 3 days in a row? That's a lot. He's like, no, come on, you guys can do it. We're like,
you can do it.
So we took on Thursday. So there was a point where I was DJing Woody's Wharf on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's
and then
awesome.
I would drive to Claremont to go to high school. So I would play until like 2 a.m. on Thursday night, 3 a.m, 2 a.m. And then by the time I was done, packed up the van, we were carrying equipment. So it wasn't like I could just pack up my laptop and go home. I was packing up equipment, fill up the van and then drive my behind back to Claremont, which is like another hour drive, right? So by the time I went to sleep, it was like 4 a.m. And then on senior year, I had zero period at like 6 a.m.
Oh.
So I could get out at 12. So I would go, get home at like 4, pass out from like 4:30 to like 5:30, wake up, shower, get to school at 6, leave at 12, go home and nap. That's what I was doing.
Dude.
So,
the grind.
That's impressive.
That was the grind. So I was DJing and then I ended up coming to UCLA out when I was obviously able to. Came out to UCLA. When I moved to UCLA, me and one of the guys from the group that were DJing, we decided to start playing shows in LA, which we did. And then about a few years in, I started wanting to produce music because it was just like, I felt like I was playing a lot of tracks in a club that like, I was like, these could be better. This is just not, like, I love this track, but let's change a little bit of something. So I started making like remixes and doing the whole, remix game. And then I got kind of, people were like, yo, send me this, send me that. So I started sending remixes to people. And I got kind of known as this guy that was just doing remixes for people. And I didn't even want to give most of them out. Most of them were my own sets. So it wasn't like I was trying to produce. None of the other guys in the group really wanted to produce. There was one of them that was, but he was kind of doing his own thing. So that was it. So one thing led to another. I was playing, I did a track that I was actually telling you about earlier. It got put, I didn't put it out. It was my own track. And it was a remix to 21 Pilots, Stressed Out.
Oh, I like that song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Super slow though. So the problem was I wanted to make, everybody knew the words. It had like over 1 billion plays on YouTube. So I was like, everybody knows this song. Just, you can't play it in a club because everyone's going to go to sleep. So I made like a festival trap-y version of the song. And then the Chainsmokers DM'd me. And I was like, the fuck? Why are the Chainsmokers DM'ing me? And I didn't know if it was, I was like, yo, is this a real? They're verified. Like, yeah, this is them. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, yo, can you send us that remix? And I was like, yeah, but time out. Like, I didn't release that. How did you guys even know about it? Like, how did you get it? And I'm like, oh, I was in, David Guetta's podcast. And I'm like, fuck, did David Guetta get it? So I go and obviously these people have people that do their podcasts. So I reached out, try to find out where, went back to like 4 different podcasts. And then it turns out one of my buddies, Mackenzie, Mac J, who he has produced so many, he's got a ridiculous record. I mean, that guy's resume in music is insane.
Wait, we can get someone to do our podcast for us?
Yeah, like straight up. Well, music podcast. But yeah, I'm sure you have a twin because the first time I met you, you didn't say but 3 words. And now this guy's like talkative Joe over here. I don't know what's going on.
Cardboard cutouts and it's just you talking to yourself.
I don't know who I met that night. You got a twin? I don't know who I met that night, but that wasn't you, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so
thank you.
So I traced it back and it turns out that it was my buddy had put it in his podcast, got picked up. And then people were like, the Chainsmokers actually played it a few shows. couple actually big shows that they played it at. And then my people were like sending me videos in the crowd. So like I got a little bit of hype from it, took it off and then started playing a lot more shows. And at one point I was touring all the time.
Wow.
And I was in law school at the time. So I graduated UCLA. I'm like working out at UCLA with like some of the guys that are playing on the football team and like the rugby team. And they're all good friends of mine, right? One of them, shout out to Mike Harris, played at UCLA, then played for the Chargers and then played for like the Vikings. And I think now he's a coach for their like development team, if I'm not mistaken. Super nice dude. I gave him his first shot in a club when he turned 21, by the way. I was DJing that night. DJing that night at, it was an H Wood Group venue. Anyway, so.
Shout out to H Wood Group.
Yeah, right. Shout
Great guys.
To Brian Toll and them. Good people. Brian Toll actually used to book me back in the day too. So that's actually how I knew the H Wood Group.
Nice.
So these guys that I'm like working out with, it's kind of like a double story here. So I go to UCLA, then I go to law school. Mind you, I know all these athletes and these athletes are like, oh, you're going to law school. Why don't you be my agent? And I was like, be your agent? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm first year law student. Like I can't be your agent. I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's going to be really bad for you and even worse for me. Like this doesn't sound like a good plan. Like if in the history of plans, this is probably one of the worst. So I told him like, listen, just let me figure my life out and then we'll talk. So I'm playing shows. I'm in law school at Pepperdine in Malibu. And I'm playing shows. I remember at one point, I was in Beirut for like 3 weeks. And I was playing at this club called Sky Bar. And Sky Bar was like the #1 club in the world for like 8 years running. So the fact that I got to play there was like a big deal, right? And I played like for 2 weekends. And the dean of Pepperdine like emailed me and was like, hey, where the fuck are you? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm DJing in Beirut. And he was like, what? Like, you're in law school. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, dude, gotta
pay for law school.
Gotta make money. Yeah, gotta make money. You know what I mean? And he was just like, no, like you signed a contract that said you're not going to work while you're in law. I was like, listen, if I fail anything, just kick me out. And he was like, it's like that, huh? I was like, all right, no problem. It's like, all right. So I didn't fail anything, thank God. I wasn't at the top of the class, don't get me wrong, but I didn't fail anything.
That's all that matters, not failing.
Yeah, right, not failing. So finished law school. Now, mind you, I'm in law school. I was at the end of UCLA beginning law school and I was playing on a basketball team. I think it was Equinox, and I think I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
Ron Artest's brother, Daniel Artest, shout out to the Artest family. Those are some of my favorite people. Actually, the reason I'm kind of I got in the athlete game to begin with was because of Ron Artest, Meta World Peace.
Wow.
So Ron Artest, his brother was on my basketball team and I was DJing like all these clubs and his brother was like, he came out with me a few times and he's like, yo, I think you and my brother, you guys can do something. And I was like, what do you mean? Like your brother's Ron Artest. He's like known for beating people up in the stand. Like, what do you mean? Like how am I supposed to do something? Like, what do you, I'm confused. And he's like, no. Let me just introduce you guys. You're in music. Ron loves music. I'm like, all right, I get it. Okay. Yeah, we could do something.
All right.
So I got a call from him. This is back when, I don't remember if it was still Bootsy's at the time, but it was Bootsy Bellows. Was the nightclub. I just don't know if it was Bootsy's at the time.
Yeah.
Got a call.
Used to be the spot. Dude.
Used to be
I lived there.
Yeah. The greatest spot ever, right? So get a call from them at like 12 in the night. I think it was 12 midnight, 11:30. And Daniel was calling me and he said, hey, can you meet me at Bootsy's? And I was like, bro, it's Wednesday or Tuesday at like 12 o'clock, meet you at Bootsy's. He's like, yeah, don't you want to meet Ron? And I was like,
wasn't it Tuesdays and Thursdays were the days or something like that?
I guess.
Yeah.
This was, but I mean,
but that's
Tuesday,
a random,
maybe?
dude.
So random. And I was just like,
that's what I remember when I first came to LA, not to sidetrack, but when I first came, my buddy was a promoter and he's like, nobody goes out on the weekends. That's when the tourists come out.
Yeah,
he's like, you go out on the Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But I mean, I was also in school. So I was like, I'm in law school. So like during the day I had to like actually like comprehend life. So like I couldn't really, and I didn't drink. So it was like,
and then so you got invited to go to a club on a Tuesday night and you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Right? There's no way. I'm like, what? And he's like, do you want to meet Ron? And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. So get my shit together, head down to Bootsy's and get in, go to the table. And I thought it was going to be, NBA guys, when they come out, they come out. Like they got like, 10, 12. So I showed up and it was just Ron and his brother, Daniel, at the table. Nobody else was there. Wow. And I pulled up and I was like, hey guys. And he's like, hey, what's up? We start talking. He's like, yeah. So, Daniel tells me you're a DJ. And I was like, yo, what is going on right now? And he was just like, oh, you don't want to talk? I said, no. Let's sure. So long story short, he ends up long story long. He ends up kind of getting me in the game. He puts me on some game. He's like, listen, none of our agents, this is back in the day, right? So like back in the day, CAA, Wasserman, all these big agencies, they didn't care about your off-field endorsements. They cared about your player's contract, right? Like if your dude was getting paid $100 million, they wanted that piece of that, right? They didn't care if like, Mom and Pop's Cookies was giving this guy $50,000 to show up and do like an appearance or to, whatever, right? So he straight up told me, he's like, listen, give me appearances. I like going clubbing anyways. I just don't want to spend money on bottles. And whatever you get paid, like we'll split it. Like we'll cut bread together. I was like, wait, really? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm telling you, our agents do not care about this. So I started doing that. Started doing off-field endorsements. I was doing them for him, appearances, all kinds of stuff. And he had a manager. Shout out to Heidi. He has a manager. So it wasn't like I was managing him, but I was just doing like appearances. And I would shoot him a text and be like, yo, you want to do this? Okay, cool. You don't? Okay, cool. And that's kind of where the athlete side of things kind of got born. So I started doing these off-field endorsements. And I met this gentleman, Lawrence Etta. He's like really close with Darren Collison, another UCLA cat. And he did an event at Boa Steakhouse. And at that event was Danny Green. Shout out Danny Green. I actually recently been seeing Danny at our PT spot. We go to the same physical therapy spot. But I met Danny and I met Kenneth Farid. So at that event, me and Kenneth kind of hit it off and became really close. And that sparked another person that's also responsible for me knowing everybody and kind of getting in the game. Kenneth, me and him, our friendship took off. I started managing him, and I still to this day manage Kenneth full-time. The only person I will manage full-time for now because I just have too much on my plate. But one of the greatest people in the history of life that I just love that guy. He's amazing.
He's great too. He's a great player.
Great player. Highlight of his career. I met him his first year in the league, so it wasn't like he had got there yet. But over time, he becomes this, the manimal.
He's got like Dwight Howard shoulders too.
Yeah.
Just, whew.
The guy's like a freak athlete, like just insane.
Yeah.
And kind of starts killing the game. Ends up going to Spain for Team USA back in 2013 or 14. Don't quote me on the date. I think it's 13, maybe 14. Mm-hmm. And he calls me. He's like, yo, come to Spain. I was like, I can do that? And he was like, yeah. The NBA is like allowing me to bring someone out. You're like, I'll introduce you to everybody. You're doing this like athlete stuff, right? Like, I'll introduce you to people. Like you can, whatever. Pack my shit, went to Spain. I spent like 2 months in Spain and everybody was there except for Kobe and LeBron. And I'm talking about all these dudes that they hadn't yet blown up yet. So Clay and Steph were there. Kyrie was there. Anthony Davis was there. And if I show you these pictures of like us in Spain, we all look like little kids. We all look like just little kids. Like it's insane. And I kind of sparked a lot of relationships that I was, that I ended up doing off-field endorsements for. So I was killing the game, graduate law school, no reason to take the bar because I'm just going nuts. Meanwhile, my family does like commercial development, gas stations, shopping centers, and I'm kind of helping them on the legal side a little bit, but it's our own family. So I don't have to, I can do legal work for ourselves. Like it's not really legal work, right? And then fast forward to 2020, the whole world shuts down. And I told my wife, I was like, yo, I'm going to take the bar. She was like, what? You've been out of school for 8 years. You're going to take the bar? I was like, yeah, there's nothing else to do. We're just sitting at home making TikToks. So studied, took the bar, passed, and I converted it now to a law firm. So now I own a law firm and I do in-house counsel work for like high net worth individuals. And that's pretty much my go-to. That's my day-to-day right now. I do in-house counsel for people and I do PI. So like
that's cool.
Car accidents, slip and falls, stuff like that.
And it's Esquire Law.
Esquire Law with the 5.
With the 5, yeah.
So Esquire magazine.
Instead of the S.
I had to change it to a 5 back in the day because when I was getting verified actually on Instagram, I think it was Instagram or Twitter first. I don't remember which one it was first. One of the platforms that was verifying me was like, listen, we can't verify you as Esquire with an S because
trademark.
Because of Esquire magazine.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I had DJ in front of it. So it was DJ_Esquire. And then so I changed it to DJ_E5, right? And then lo and behold, down the road, I just took out the DJ because it was just more universal. It's just Esquire. Yeah. So now the word is just Esquire. So the law firm is E5 Esquire with Esquire Law with a 5. So yeah. So I wear a lot of different hats. It's kind of weird, but
yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a cool story.
In between all that too, I mean, didn't you have a pizza shop? Did you have a flower shop?
We opened we purchased a pizza shop that just. It was we didn't know. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? So we purchased on Sunset, we purchased a pizza shop and COVID hit. We purchased, I think 3 months before COVID. And we just got we were already trying to turn this business around. Like it already wasn't like the spot yet. We were trying to make it the spot.
Yeah.
But then once they shut everything down, it was like,
yeah,
what are you going to do?
Can't win on that one.
Yeah, so that one we ended up closing. We have a few. My family, we have a few restaurants, but they're all inside like gas stations. So like we have like I think it's like a Fat Burger, a Chronic Tacos, or like Jack in the Box, like just a bunch of random ones, but they're all inside like there's a gas station shopping center, and it's like inside there.
Yeah.
Man, what I love about this story is just how hard you worked and how determined you are, right? And like literally making connections through how hard you worked, basically, right? And it's like,
I appreciate that.
when you're 15 years old, waking up at 6 a.m., are you kidding me? I couldn't get up before 9 when I was
going to bed at 4
that
a.m.
young, right? Like,
So you want to hear the kicker to that?
Oh man.
My parents got divorced at the age of, I think I was 13 at the time. And my dad wasn't in the country and my mom just left. So I lived at the house by myself when I was in high school, first year of high school.
Wow.
And my brother was 4 years older than me and he lived in Irvine. He had an apartment in Irvine. So I was in Upland at this house by myself. And people are like, did you not throw parties? Like, what is wrong with you?
How'd you not drink?
Yeah, right. How did you not drink? Well, I think the drinking part of it was I was around so much like alcohol and drugs. And I was just like, it wasn't something where it was like, oh, you can't get alcohol. Like I was in a nightclub every 3 days a week.
Dude, I totally relate to that in the sense of you see people drunk and you're like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that does not look appealing what that person's doing right now. Like,
at all. One of my friends actually said I
they're
did.
sober and then like DJing, watching the mass of it happen 24/7, right?
Yeah. But the funny thing is I'm actually, when people are drunk around me, I don't really get like, oh, you're weird. Like I actually have you know me, I'm like super, I'm like.
But you're one of those guys who, at least from my perspective, is the life of the party, man. You always have energy. You're always positive, dude. Every time I see you, it makes my day, dude. Like you're
the man, Brocky.
Dude. That's what I'm saying. You're the man, bro.
The other day I was
Will, you're the man.
Will's the man too, but Will's like the man behind the man. Like if you know Will, you're like, oh, you're doing something right. You know Will, like you killing the game.
Will's the man, dude.
I was at Equinox and I opened up the locker door and like I could see like I thought there was just a shade because there was like some paper behind the wall. But I opened the door and there was this like massive human being behind the door. It was Brock. He was opening the door for me. I saw like this massive.
That was the other morning.
It was like 2 days ago.
Hilarious.
So polite.
Dude, I just joined the executive locker room over there, right?
Greatest thing ever in the history of life.
Yeah, except for one thing.
What?
The eye retinal scan, the only way you get into the locker, hasn't worked for the 2 weeks I've been a member. And so I've been sitting here like,
yours does it?
Yeah. So I've been waiting. So when someone like you opens the door, you know, it's great moment for me. Because I'll have to sit there for like 5 minutes half the time. I'm like, this is can't get in my own locker.
That locker room is like the hidden gem of LA.
Dude.
Nobody like.
I had no idea. I've been going to that gym since 2010, dude. I don't know like how long it's been. On average, the most people you see in there is like 3. And you go in, it's like soundproof, you know, it's got the sauna. It's got extra cold, dude. The AC is great, dude. It's got Wi-Fi, the TV, the whole nine. So
bro, that's the best.
I'm like, I'm never going back.
I had my locker at the one in Sepulveda for like 15 years. And then the other, like when COVID ended and things came back to like normal, I moved my locker there because I'd gone there and I was going to the regular locker room.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is just too many people around me. Like
nonstop.
I'm super claustrophobic and like there's like nonstop lockers and like I couldn't fucking change my goddamn shorts without like 15 people trying to get by me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like, dude, this is just not going to work.
Not ideal.
And then I asked the guy, I was like, you guys have an executive locker? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, where is this? Where is this thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, come, let me show you. It's another door.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is great.
Oh yeah.
It took me back there. I was like, are there any lockers? Is anybody here? He was like, no.
When you go in the gym too, you're working out, it's high intensity. Like there's a lot of, adrenaline and sometimes anxiety and like there's all kinds of stuff flowing, right? You go in the locker room, it's the same thing. Now you go in the executive locker. I feel like I just meditated when I go in there.
Bro. Phil Jackson on steroids, bro.
Oh, it's incredible, man.
Insane. I agree with that.
So I just got introduced to it. And as soon as my friend brought me in, I was like, how do we go? I was like, I jumped the line. I was like, I'm going to keep bugging this guy every single day until he gets me in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Luckily I didn't have to do it. I had my buddy do it for me. but it worked out great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good. So I'm going to see more of you then.
Absolutely. Yeah. It changed the experience. You know, it makes what we do every day anyways more enjoyable.
Yeah,
and I think that
for sure.
that's worth the couple extra bucks.
Yeah, well, what you do like 8 times a day, but what like I try to do once a day. But
or I do it right once a day.
Yeah, or you kill the game. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
no,
sure.
I'm a big fan of advocate for health too, man.
Yeah.
That's why it's so interesting hearing that you don't really do caffeine, coffee and stuff like that, because you've always had energy every time I've seen you.
I don't know what it is, and I think you're probably right. You kind of nailed it right in the head. Like, I think it's because I don't put anything in my system that I'm always just high energy, but I will say that I have to get my sleep. So like you guys might be the kind of dudes that can sleep like 3-4 hours and function.
Yeah.
I fucking will just, it's like like the robot that runs out of battery, it'll fall down. There's just no way. And the only way to fix it is not coffee. It's sleep.
Sleep. Yeah.
Well,
that's it.
So I did because I had a deviated septum for almost a decade and finally got it fixed.
Kenneth did too. Kenneth played in the league for 4 years without fixing that.
Dude,
it's
we both
did
game
it.
changer.
Yeah, I did it too.
Game changer. Yeah.
You can only breathe out of one nostril, right? Like it was like impossible to breathe out of one nostril.
I couldn't breathe out of either.
You'd be running on the treadmill, right? And you like don't even notice that you're breathing like through your mouth and getting like 20% of the oxygen. And then you go and fix it. And it's not even close.
Will
so much better.
Yeah, exactly. Will did it before I did. And then he told me after how incredible it was. And then I had a couple other friends who I talked to who had also done it. I had it for over a decade. Finally, I go to Will's doctor and they tested me and they're like, yeah, you got 10% breathability in one nostril. And I'm like, yeah.
That's what I had too. The 90% deviation.
It's terrible. It is the worst, dude. Sleep. The worst. Sorry.
No, it's good. I was just gonna say, like playing football and lacrosse my entire life. Like
you played football and lacrosse your entire life?
Oh yeah,
dude. Wow. Will is a beast of an athlete, dude.
I was
clearly football and lacrosse.
Like, past tense.
Your whole family is like just naturally athletic on like a high level. It's pretty insane.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Past the prime now, so now the brain is the muscle I work now. A lot of writing.
I feel like he's just being humble. I feel like he can still ball out.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah,
for sure.
He looks like
him play golf, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know you can play golf because I see dude travels to play golf. Like someone golfs when they like leave the state to go golf. Oh yeah, where you going? Oh, we're going up to Utah to get a couple holes. I'm like, what the? You going to Utah? What? Like they like leave.
Well, I started golfing because of Will. He's my first introduction to golf. Man, now I love the sport.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's so much fun, dude, and. I still have a little bit of a control issue when it comes to swinging a little too hard. And so he's like, dude, well, you have to realize
every time.
He's like, there's a reason 90-year-old guys still golf, they play golf. It's like, it's technique.
It doesn't take power.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just doing it right. And
it took me 20 years to learn like to swing softer,
Yeah.
Because you get up, you're like, I want to hit it far. I want to hit the ball far.
But it's
go up, try to kill it. No, 100%. It's grip, setup, alignment, aim, and then just
it's kind of like tennis.
Let the club a lot like tennis in terms of
tennis.
Yeah,
100%. You can't just you bang that shit out in tennis and it's gone.
Exactly.
Pass the line every time.
Yep.
And dude, it's such a fulfilling game when you hit it right, when you get right on the green, when you're you do a long putt or even short putt, when any putt that goes in the hole is great. But it's just it's one of those things I think that you can do long term, and it brings so many athletes from different sports. Like you see Steph, you see all those pro golfers, PGA Tour golfers, man. You see people from all walks of life that are coming in and golfing and having a great time.
Bro, I was in Vegas, to your point. I was in Vegas for Team USA basketball. This is I think the summer after we got back. And I was there, everybody was there. And I was in a conversation. Don't ask me how I found myself in this conversation. I was in a conversation with Steph and Mike Conley. I want to say Kenneth was there too, or Clay was there. One of those two were there as well. And I never realized how much NBA dudes golf, or athletes in general golf. And I thought they were talking like, oh, what time tomorrow? And I was like, I thought they were talking about, practice. There's practice in the morning. I thought they were going to ball out in the morning. So, tee time's at, 8. And tee time. I said, are you guys talking about golf? And they're like, yeah, we're going to golf tomorrow. And they were in it. Like they were ready.
Fired up.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is a real situation right now.
If you think about it and you're a pro athlete and you're at the top of your game like these guys are and everyone you mentioned and all that, then you go to the golf course and suddenly you're a beginner again, that competitive nature is going to take over. And you're going to be like, okay, it's like I have the physical attributes to be good at this.
Yeah.
How do I train and learn it in order to improve, right? And I mean, hockey players, baseball players, NBA guys, it's an amazing game.
Crazy.
And it challenges
yeah.
every inch of you.
It's
crazy.
I feel like it's the ultimate equalizer because you can be out of shape, you can be in the best shape of your life, you can be a phenom athlete.
John Daly.
And it's so crazy because you can all come together, and the person that you think is the least likely to succeed is the one that's hitting the freaking 300-yard drive.
Crazy.
It's just getting on the green, doing the whole deal.
You guys might know about this. I don't know much about it, but I heard about it. What was the deal with this whole golf tournament in Jersey? This whole was it Live golf tournament?
So Live is a brand new league.
Okay.
I believe the money guys are from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And they started this like kind of tangent professional league and just paid these guys a crap load of money. And a lot of the PGA guys just signed over. Pat Perez,
Phil
Dustin
Mickelson
Johnson,
did too, right?
Phil.
I heard they paid him like $250 million.
Yeah, big group of guys, just hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think that was for one tournament though.
They offered Tiger like 700 mil.
Yo, I love Tiger, but you got to be on some different level shit to turn down $700 million.
See, I don't know how I feel about it.
You would turn down $700 million?
If I'm Tiger Woods and I'm like the best PGA Tour golfer of all time and want to like retain the integrity of the league and like already have more money than God, like I would think about.
You are a much better man than me. I would have been like, yo, 700 what? We ain't talking about pesos, right? We're talking about dollars.
I think it shows a lot of like pride in the PGA and like restraint and discipline. And
he's already.
But I also like
right?
Pat Perez signed a big deal. Like I'm so happy for Pat. Like he's an incredible golfer, great guy. Like hell yeah, like go do that.
There's probably like an etiquette side to it too that I'm not familiar with because I don't golf like
it's
that.
It's the culture of golf.
Yeah. So there's probably a side to it that I don't. All I see is $700 million, and I think I counted the zero. I literally wrote it down on paper. I counted the zeros, and I was like,
yeah.
Did they say this right? Did they mean 700 million? Were they trying to say 700,000 or did they say 700 million? Let me explain something to you. He's got kids, but let me explain something to you. What I think we should do is we should literally get a piece of paper and write down how many zeros so we can see the amount of. Yeah, bro. There's a lot of zeros
That's
behind
a lot of
this.
zeros, bro.
This ain't like.
But after taxes, you saw that lottery winner?
Yeah,
you said after taxes.
The IRS won the lottery. What are you talking about, bro? 1.2 billion?
Forced the damn whole lotto.
Yo.
Biggest lotto in history.
But it's also by state, right? So like what happened was, I think it was Ohio, the person that won. I think there's a state tax on it too. But like in California, there's no state tax. So if the person won in California, they would have made an extra like 15% or something.
But even that's still less than half.
Yo, 15% of 1 point.
That's a lot. No, that's a lot.
2 billion.
And at the end of the day, they're still walking around with 400 mil, but you won 1.2 billion.
Yeah, you want a billy. You don't even have half a billy.
Dude, as if inflation and all this other shit ain't high enough, man.
Yeah, bro. I know you feel it every time you fill up the pump. I saw your story one time. It was like $5,000 to fill up.
I haven't filled up
gas.
since.
Yeah, you see my truck parked outside? You see the dust on it? Oh my God, that's so good.
No,
dude.
man, but yeah, that's a wild thing you'd have to come to terms with. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still walking like 400 whatever million. You probably weren't even had a couple hundred mil in the 100,000 in the account.
That person's not mad right now. They're going to be mad in like 20 years. But like right now, they're not looking back like, what? You're only giving me $500 million?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Where's my other $700 million?
And it depends on who it is, because then you look at the track record of people that win the lottery and how most of them go broke or crazy or whatever the hell happens.
Because most of them never had money to begin with.
Exactly. And you have to grow into wealth. Yeah. If you don't grow in,
you got to learn how to like manage wealth.
How to manage it, because
they don't teach you that in school.
Dude, if you have it and then you freak out and you're like, I'm going to buy everything, and all of a sudden you're buying, Steven Spielberg's yacht and someone else's island. And so it's like, oh, damn.
Steven Spielberg's yacht. And he said, I'm in the wrong conversation, bro. This dude talking about how all the properties have like all these different things. This guy's talking about buying Steven Spielberg's island.
Hey, man.
I'm in the wrong conversation, bro.
I've been in the Bahamas before and I saw his yacht pull up, and that's why I was kind of saying that and I was like, I rolled out on a jet ski and I'm going around. I'm like, this is insane. There's
different levels to yachts though. And I didn't realize that until like recently on Instagram. Instagram helped me realize that there's different levels to yachts.
No,
there's
my first time going to, it was Ibiza. It was my first time in Europe, I think. No, not my first time in Europe, but my first time like being around that kind of wealth. And this guy's sitting at the table next to me and we have a big group of friends and He goes, oh yeah, that's my. We were talking about just life and everything. He's like, yeah, that's my yacht out there. And I'm like, I look and he's like, yeah, it's the second biggest yacht in the world.
What?
It costs like $1 million plus just to dock it a year, you know, and it has to have 30 people living on it full time just to maintain function on the yacht itself without even leaving the dock. So imagine, it's insane, dude. I remember I was out in. I forgot what, Saint-Tropez, something like that. But there was the biggest.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Spencer, I'm in the wrong conversation, bro.
Let me tell you,
when you get to tell people like I was in this, I forgot, like Saint-Tropez, like some, you just throw it out there, like it's not even like.
Meanwhile,
Saint-Tropez.
This guy's out here brokering massive deals with the whole NBA out in Europe for 2 months, getting paid to live out there. Yeah, I was paying my way. It's a different story, but. No, man, it was like I wanted to fly the drone out just to go get a good view, like at these beautiful shots, where
that was a real yacht. That wasn't because my experience of yachts, people are like, yo, you want to come on my yacht? And it's like, 15-person yacht. And then we drive by like the real,
different levels.
The real yachts. The yachts that when you're driving by on another yacht, it takes like 10 seconds to pass them. And you're still looking at the yacht.
Like Star Wars.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is the front. Let me take you to the West Wing. And you just,
No, I've been on a yacht that I woke up with a hangover in the morning, and so I sat up and hit my head on the thing that was 2 inches above where I was sleeping. So
you weren't. My bad, Brock. You weren't on a yacht. You were on a boat.
Listen,
you were on a boat.
I was on the dinghy for the yacht that was over there.
You were on the guy's spare tire for his yacht.
Honestly, any chance to get off that yacht, I took. So
right.
That's when it's a different story. But
whole different ballgame.
Yeah, you see those, and just the I remember there was a dude having the conversation. There was a I believe he was a Russian guy. I don't know his name. And if anybody does, please tell it to me. But he had the world's biggest yacht. Somebody else built one like 3 to 5 feet longer, and so then he went and built, without even getting rid of the first one, another one bigger than the one before. So he would have the biggest yacht again.
I'm like, it's all a de-measuring competition at that point.
Yeah, it's just different.
Well,
it's like re-releasing Avatar so they could beat Endgame.
See, like I never understood that though. I don't know if I could do, like I can't have like a big D competition. Like I would just be like, yo, you got it, dog.
I would be
my yacht can be three feet smaller. You got it, dog. Can we be friends? Can I just come on your 5 foot longer yacht? Like I'm cool with that. Like if someone came out and was like, yo, I got like, I got like the top Lamborghini. Some dude's like, yo, I just released a new one. And it's like 0.3 of a second faster than yours. I'd be like, all right.
But that's the whole deal, man.
Cool. Can we take yours to In-N-Out?
That's the whole deal. Where do you place your values and what is that to you? It's like, for me, man, I would give up all the money in the world to have perfect health and just pure mental health, happiness, and just be surrounded by love. Cause I'm like, where are your values at? Like, if that's what you need to feel valued or loved or whatever your reason for getting that, sometimes, dude, if you got it, go get it, man. There's no harm in that, dude. We all like nice things, But for me, if I'm not happy, if I'm not fulfilled,
bro,
why am I doing it? You
know my saying, right? Every time you say, how you doing, right?
No, what is it?
You don't know my saying?
What's your saying?
Every time you say me, you say, hey, how you doing? I say,
hey, how you doing?
And I say, I'm living a dream. Another day in paradise. I can't complain.
I've heard that.
I say that every time.
That's it, man.
Never changes all day long. My happiness is from my wife. Shout out to my wife. I love her. She's the best.
Shout out to you, right?
She's like the greatest thing in the history of life.
She's man.
The best Filipino woman in the history of life.
Yeah, dude. And that's why credit to you, man. You knew.
Yeah, I knew. It was weird. When I first met her, I was like, yeah, this is it. She had no idea.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet?
I hit her like El Nino. So it's interesting. She went on a cruise. It was one of my really close friends, actually. It was his bachelor party, but I wasn't on it because I was DJing. I think I was DJing in another country. I don't know where I was. I was DJing out of town, and she went on this cruise, and one of her cousins was like, took a liking to one of our friends or cousins, like that was in our group. And so the groups kind of started hanging out, and they were like the only 2 young groups on the boat. So they go and come back. And this is back when Instagram used to like show you people that you like, that you fuck with, like people that like know your friends or like are friends of friends. Yeah. Right. So she popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh, this girl's hot. So I followed her. She followed me back. And I was thinking, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong.
The follow back.
You know what I'm saying? When they follow you back, you're like, it's on. No, it wasn't even the case. So she was on this trip, right? And like my brother and my cousins were on this trip, and they were like, oh, you live in LA? She's like, yeah, DJ E5quire. She's like, nah, he's a bum. I never heard of him. I was like, all right, cool. So she knew who I was just because
she wouldn't say those words.
Something along those lines. Yeah. Don't quote me. And then so she knew who I guess I was because they told her about it, but I didn't know that she knew that, right? So we're following each other for like 2 2.5 years. I wouldn't jump in her DMs. I'm not that guy. I'm very like, I don't know. I just find it weird. Like if we see each other in person and we're following each other, then we talk, like cool. But like I just, you know what I mean? Like jumping a girl's DMs to ask her on a date, it just was weird for me. I don't know why. I was always that guy. Just weird.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't do it. So she got another relationship. I got another relationship. And then I ended up getting out of a relationship. I thought she was still in a relationship because she still had the pictures up. You know, when you're in a relationship, pictures are up, right?
I don't really delete anything. It's kind of like, that's what I was doing at the time. That's who I was with, you know?
That's how you know you've made it, Will. When you don't have to delete anything, bro. That's how you know that you've made it, big dog. Like me and Brock. So let me tell you how the regular people do it. Like we have to delete shit, dog. Like we gotta go back and be like, yo, this was not me back in the day, bro. I gotta get rid of this. Like I didn't like who did I date this girl? What was I think? Like
I might have deleted like one or two, but
yeah, you made it. You made it, big dog.
No.
That's a wrap.
Sorry. Keep
I don't
going.
think I've ever seen Brock laugh that loud.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Am I wrong? It's the truth, right?
You're not wrong.
So she didn't, I thought she was still in a relationship. And so she went to this, you guys remember the sushi joint in downtown LA that was at the top of, it was like Elevate, I think it was, like next to the club Elevate. There was like a sushi joint, got a lot of hype when it first opened. And
I think I went there randomly one time.
Everybody was on. It was like top of it. Like you could see the whole city from this place, right? Yeah. And the idea was that this was like the best sushi joint. Everybody was hyping it up. She went there, and I love sushi. I mean, I love food in general, as you can tell, but I love sushi even more than that. Same. And so I told her, I said, I messaged her when she went there. She posted, I said, hey, is this place good or is this like, don't waste my time? And she wrote me back. She's like, it's I was like, oh, thank God, I'm not gonna go waste $300 for no reason. I was like, all right, cool. And I thought she was still in. So I said, I hope you and your man are good. Have a good night. And she's like, oh, we actually broke up. Yeah. Now at that point, I was already in there like swimwear. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, you know what I mean? Like at that point, I was like, I'm already there.
You waited 2 years for that moment.
Two and a half, Brock, 2.5. Yeah. So then I told her, I said, maybe we exchange numbers, maybe we go out. So we went out and from the first time, our first date, I think was like 6 hours, bro. It was crazy.
Nice.
And we just like hit it off. And she's like, this girl couldn't harm a fly, bro. If she finds out that someone doesn't like her and she's never even met them, she'll like try to reach out to me like, what did I do? I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to hurt you. Was it something I said? And like, she's just so nice.
Just like wants good energy out there.
Always positive. Like, always like, and if people do her wrong, she's like, it's okay. Like, I'm okay with like, let them just, they're gonna like, just let them, they have to get through life. Like, it's fine. Like, she's like that person.
Yeah.
And she loves animals. She wants to start like a nonprofit to save the dolphins, like, and elephants. My life is like over, bro. I have to like, it's crazy. I'll tell you a funny story to give you an idea of how much she loves animals. So I live in the hills and, I went outside to check the mail one day and it was late at night. It was like, I want to say 10 o'clock, not like super late, but like 9, 10 o'clock. So you couldn't really see. The visibility is like not that good when you're in the hills, right? So I go to the mailbox and I don't know what the fuck I hit. I hit something and my entire leg is soaking wet. And I'm like, what just happened? And I go inside and I'm like holding the mail, like completely confused. I have no idea what just happened. And I'm like, Kayla, I don't know what's my socks, my shoes, my entire leg is soaking wet. And not like I stepped in a little puddle. It's like I stepped in a pool. Like this is insane. Huh. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, what? She's like, you hit the water for the squirrels. And she fucking ran outside. I said, get the fuck out. Are you serious? I hit the water for the squirrels? She was placing buckets of water outside by the mailbox for the squirrels to drink water.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
That's nice.
It's a whole new level, dog.
Also,
it's like is it Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella with like all the forest animals around?
And I'm the Beast.
And like,
you like how he got there? He was trying like you're Beauty and the Beast. She's Beauty and you are the Beast. Yeah. 100%. Will.
That's good.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just loves animals. So she's all about like,
have you hit another bucket since?
No. I asked her very kindly to please paste the bucket on the other side of the curb. Like, I just don't understand why it needs to be in the path of checking the mail. Like,
listen, dude. It goes dolphins, elephants, squirrels, then you, bro.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, I got to correct you. Elephants would be at the top of that list. Dolphins would be second. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Squirrels would probably be third. I don't even think I'm fourth, to be honest with you. I think there's like some other
animal. 3 dogs.
My 3 dogs definitely before me, and then I somewhere down there.
The Wi-Fi gang.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. So it's actually funny. She loves animals. So I'm for me, I love animals too. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I'm not putting out buckets of water to feed the squirrels. I love, like, I don't want to,
You're not against it.
I don't want squirrels to die. And like, if I see one and he looks like he's visibly thirsty, I'd probably give him some water. But like, I don't think have you guys ever seen a squirrel that needs water?
The ones around here are pretty plump.
Maybe.
They look like they eat pretty good.
You squirrel watching throughout the day?
They eat my lettuce. They eat my vegetables in my garden, so I stick Penny on them.
That's fucking great.
Penny brought me back a squirrel one time, but she was just playing with it. It was like she comes up from behind the pool, and it's like in her mouth.
Oh,
and she
God.
she didn't know what to do. It's just like the hunter in her, right? Like she's just a hunter.
That's
so
normal.
she brings it up and then is like, okay, and drops it, and it runs off. There was no...
The squirrel was alive in her mouth?
Oh, yeah. The squirrel was like bigger than her head, right? It was like a big squirrel. So she was like... But then she dropped it. It ran off. There was no blood. There was not... It was just strictly like, I'm picking it up. Come play with me.
Best case
scenario.
You weren't wondering how the hell that happened?
She has her rabies vaccines. There were no scratches.
If it was a cat, it would have been in your bed, dead squirrel.
No,
I'm a little bit confused. How?
I guess that's a horrible story to tell after like giving water for them and loving animals, but like nothing bad happened.
How did she grab the squirrel without like?
She's that quick, dude.
She's so fast.
Yeah. She's that quick.
Yeah.
Did the squirrel need a lift?
She's also
was she the Uber?
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Hey, get the squirrel some water. All right.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. But no harm was done. No harm was done.
We believe you. You know, it was funny. I was when I was
little squirrel graves in the backyard.
Tiny little cross.
when I was driving over here, I was thinking, how long have you guys been doing this podcast?
Since February.
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5
March,
months, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know who you guys should get on this podcast? I don't even know if you guys know him. You guys know Johnny Shahidi?
I don't.
No.
Who is that?
You guys know the Nelk Boys?
Oh, yeah.
Like Steve and
Heard of him,
Kyle and them.
Yeah.
The guy that manages them, there's 2 brothers that manage them. And like they're like, I don't know if I guess they manage them or they're like part owners of Happy Dad. It's Johnny and Sammy Shahidi. And Johnny's like, shout out to John. This guy is like the master of just networking. The master.
The Nelk Boys are dude.
So they have a podcast.
Yeah, I sent it to Will the other day.
The one with Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know who got that for them? John.
Wow.
Okay.
Insane. The dude is like...
Open invitation.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'll make the intro. If you guys are down, I'll make the intro. I'll put you in a group chat with John and you can work with him. It's just interesting to get him on the reason I said this is because his like storyline and the shit that he's done, like it's insane. For him to sit in this conversation with that Elon Musk conversation, I was watching it and they were like, yeah, John got us Elon Musk. And I was like watching and he was like, yeah, how do you know Elon? Like, how long have you known? He's like, I've known Elon Musk since like 10 years. You've known Elon Musk for 10. What the?
We did our dream, dream guest.
Yeah.
And Elon was mine.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
for sure.
There's so much I want to ask that guy.
So many questions.
Yeah.
And he was like super. Have you seen the podcast?
Yeah. And I
haven't seen it yet.
You should watch it. It's really good.
That's why
it's really cool to watch it because it's like, just like down to earth. It's not like the finances of last quarter were this in Tesla and now it's just like, hey, let's talk. Let's shoot the shit. Let's have a conversation. He opened up a Happy Dad.
That's great.
Dude, I'd crack a beer, I'd smoke a joint, Elon, whatever you want to do.
So you guys should definitely, I'll make the intro. Remind me and I'll put you in a group chat.
That'd be cool, man.
With Johnny. He's the fucking man.
That's why we do this podcast, man. And that's the reason we created this podcast was, to have great conversations with interesting people, you know, and like really just help promote our friends and, share just good insight, but we're constantly learning not only about people that we already know, things that we didn't know about them, like how many times we had a conversation this long, right?
I don't think we have.
Yeah, exactly. But it's great. It's so much fun. Good. And then through that, it's just been a fun learning experience, but it's just fun all around.
Yeah,
it's like
something about an uninterrupted conversation, no phones, no nothing. It's just like you actually get a really deep dive with people you care about. It's cool. Yeah,
and it's really cool when you talk to people that have done like some pretty crazy shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Playing nightclubs in Turkey while in law school. How about that?
That's
like, I love that, dude. I was
I played that show in particular. I didn't really go into detail because I didn't want it to be super long. I was talking for so long, and I just realized that as I was talking, I was like, oh my God, I'm talking for like 20 minutes.
No, we love it.
But that show that I played, there's a guy that owned that club. And his name was Shafiq, if I'm not mistaken. That was his name. And they were very like, everybody at the club was like, listen, this guy is like the man. And what they do is DJs only play 1 hour and then they swap. And it goes like 1 hour house, 1 hour hip hop, 1 hour house, 1 hour hip hop. I was like, okay. So he's like, you're going to play 1 hour. I was like, okay. He's like, but you have the best hour. And it was like 2 in the morning to like 3 in the morning. And I was like, gee, or no, I think it was 12 to 1. Sorry, 12 to 1. So I was like, okay. So I went up there. I started at 12. And about 30 minutes into my set, this guy, Shafiq, the owner of the club, ends up in the DJ booth with me. Now, the DJ booth at Sky Bar was like surrounded by like the bar. It was like in the bar. And there was people pulling up in their yachts behind us, like listening to music. And we're at the top of this, like the basically the rooftop of this building, this massive building, right? And so he gets in the booth with me and he just starts grabbing things. Now, I used to drink, but I wouldn't drink often. It was like, like if something crazy like this particular
it's like a party
situation,
trick almost, right? It's
yeah, but not even. Like most of the time when I DJ'd, I wouldn't drink. But like if I did a crazy show where like I'm playing, Beirut Sky Bar, and it's like the owner of the club is in the bar, we're drinking. And I was like, all right, we'll drink. So he starts just grabbing. I don't even know what he's grabbing. He's just grabbing alcohol and just pouring shots, and we're just taking them. He stays in the booth, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm almost done. I planned for like a 1 hour set. It's like 12:55, and the second DJ comes up, like the DJ after me comes up to like go on, and Shafiq's like, no, go away. And I'm like, he's like, keep going, and I'm like, okay, but like how long? Like what do we? So I was like, all right, maybe he wants to play like another 20-30 minutes. So I play like 20-30 minutes, and we're still going. About an hour later, again, it's like now 1:55 or something, and the DJ comes back up, and he goes, no, go away, and he keep playing, and we're just taking shots, by the way. And I'm like trying to tell him like, yo, I got to be coherent. Like we got to chill. Like I can't. So like every 5 shots that he took, I would take like half a shot and then like spill the rest over my shoulder. Like I couldn't drink like him. I ended up playing until like 4 a.m. And I don't even know where I found the music. I'm pretty sure I played songs twice. There's no chance I didn't play songs twice.
Yeah.
4 hour set. And everybody was going nuts. And the guys, my buddies that live in Beirut, they came after the club and they were like, dude, he really loved your set because they don't do that. This is the first time we've ever been to Sky Bar that it was 4 hours of just straight house music. Like it wasn't like, but I kind of did like a lot of throwbacks. It was at a time when like Avicii was still alive and like things were just, that era of music that was like really like vocal heavy and very like people just loved to sing along to the words. So it wasn't just a dance, but it was also like a really good time energy wise. So I played till like 4 in the morning. I get done and I'm like fucking exhausted. And I like sweat through like 18 shirts, hairy Persian guy. And so we go down, we get in my buddy's car and he's dropping us off at the hotel. And he's like, hey, go upstairs and grab your swim trunks. And at this time, it's like, I don't even know what time it is. We went and got food. It was like 5:30. The sun was coming up. So we went and got, because I was starving. We went and got food. Actually, I lied. He took us to, I completely missed this segment. I was beat. He took us, he's like, hey, are you down to go to another club? I was like, another club? I'm like dying right now. It's like, I just played like a 4 hour set. I'm tired. He's like, you have to see this club though. I was like, why? He's like, just trust me. He's like, so we pull up. It was BO 18 or below 18. I forgot the name of it. It's one of those two. It used to be a cemetery, a grave. And what happens is you go underground and when the sun's rising, this is like an after hours club. When the sun's rising, they open the top where they used to drop like basically bodies through and you watch the sunrise while you're partying. And it's like underground.
Whoa.
Club.
18 feet below or something. Fucking
crazy, right? Now, that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is we get done. And at this point, I couldn't stay for more than like an hour, I think it was. And I was just like, guys, we got to get food and I just got to get the hell out of here. So we go. And as we're walking out of the club, mind you, we saw the sun coming up. We walk out. As we're walking out of the club, across the street is like a mosque and they're doing like the morning prayer. So you literally walk out of a club and across the street is a mosque doing the morning prayer. And you could hear it. Like you could hear them literally praying. And I was like, wait, what is going on right now? And it was the biggest mind fuck. It was like the biggest trip for me. I didn't know. I was like so confused. He took us to get food in this area that like looked like Little Italy. It was like a rocked road with like rock walls. Parked the car like right outside of this, the shop. Got some breakfast. Took us to the hotel. He's like, hey, go upstairs, grab your swim trunks and be down in 30 minutes. And I was like, dude, do you guys sleep? Like, is there any time of the night that I'm supposed to actually get rest? What do you mean be down? No.
Yeah.
And my brother looked at me, he's like, YOLO. I was like, no. I will die today. Like, if I don't sleep, I'm going to die. Like, this isn't going to happen. He's like, let's just do it. So we go upstairs, grab our swim trunks. We come down like zombies, right? And we go to this, what at the time I thought was a yacht. It was not a yacht. It was a boat. But I thought it was a yacht. But once I heard your yacht story, then I realized it's not a yacht, it's a boat. So we got on this boat, right? And it was like maybe a 20-person boat. So it was a pretty decent sized boat. And they take us to like this island. And so we're just like flying for like hours in this boat to this island where we jump off and like go and eat a bunch of like lobsters and oysters and shit next to the water. And I was tripping the fuck out. I literally did not sleep. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, you guys, I told my brother, I was like, listen, you guys just party different here. Like, we don't do this shit in LA. Like,
oh yeah.
This does not happen, bro. And I realized that, playing shows in like other parts of the world, and I guarantee you, Morton's probably got much, much crazier stories, but
I'm sure
other parts of the world.
Dude, in Ibiza, like right after a set with Morton at like, 4 or 5, I mean, we just walked right next door to grab some pizza just to like get some food in us.
To then go
that's
again.
like, well, yeah.
Years ago,
go on from there,
years ago, I was in Ibiza with Morton, and he was opening for Avicii and at Ushuaia. So I'm on stage with him, and I'm like, this is insane.
Which is
right?
like, you can't just say that as if like that's like, this is
insane.
literally like one of the #1 clubs in like the world.
No, yeah,
like,
it was insane.
Every DJ's dream is to even touch that stage, let alone open for Avicii. Like, what?
Dude, the coolest part to me though was afterwards, they have like the little holding room for, the DJ. So me and Morton were in there, and DJ started like, Morton started DJing old hip hop like Tupac and Biggie. And
wow.
And he was going in there, and then Avicii's in there with his friends and his family, right? And we're all hanging out. And then afterwards, we ended up going to another club that was open. And I remember it was, dude, this is so crazy. And exactly what you're saying was this club opened at 10 p.m. and it closed at 10 a.m. So I watched literally the sun come up over the water. And I don't do drugs or anything like that, dude, but I was drinking, and I'm sitting here like, dude, I can't do this. I'm going to die.
It's so hard.
And it was the same amount of people at night in the morning there. And then we go from there to the pool, and people are putting on sunscreen. And you're like, dude.
Yeah.
This is the one and only time I'm probably ever going to do this, but it's a different experience, going
different
out.
Level.
Yeah.
Different level.
Definitely doesn't happen here in the States.
Anywhere overseas, it's like, when they party, it's not like, oh, like, do you want to go to a party? It's like, when my buddies come from like out of town and they like stay here, they're like, that's it, we're done. And I was like,
oh yeah.
What the fuck do you mean?
LA's got to change. California has to change the 2 a.m.
They just passed it. I think they just passed it to 4.
But it hasn't like taken effect, has it?
I don't know if it's taken effect yet. That's
maybe next year.
But
or
I think
something.
they just voted on something. I don't know if it's maybe West Hollywood. Maybe voted on it.
Okay.
I think it's West Hollywood. Their city council voted on it, but I don't think like LA's passed it yet now.
Yeah, the LA move is like, it's not like New York or Europe where you stay out and go to different clubs. You literally have to like find house parties. Yeah.
Bro, people don't even leave in like Miami or New York. People don't even like leave. They're like, oh, you going to the club tonight? Yeah, what time you mean there? Like 1:30. Like, what?
Yeah.
Show up to the club in LA at 1:30. They're like, all right,
doors are
you
closed.
gotta go. Get your shit and get the hell out of here. Like, what? Yeah, I gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here. Like, it doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
100%.
That's interesting, dude. But I will say that is playing in Europe, or like, regardless, going to Europe, partying in Europe, doing something different. It's obviously different, right? Like, going with Morton to open for Avicii is like a different, like, I don't think many people can have that experience. Like DJing in a different country is like, not a lot of people have that experience. So even if you're just like regularly go out, I presume it's different, but this was like a whole different, it was just mind blowing. It was just insane.
I want to go next time you go play one of those clubs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
you gotta send us the invite.
I opened this law firm, and I've just been like going really heavy in the law firm. And I've had a lot of people ask me, they're like, hey, are you like, is music done? And I was like, no, I don't think it's done, but I have like a full on music studio at my house, by the way.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's where I would make all my music, but I haven't been able to utilize it. It's become my office now. But I think that the plan moving forward is to, once the law firm is kind of running and everything's kind of moving, I think the plan is to get back into music and just start, making more music, whether that's playing a lot of shows, cool. If not, whatever, but just to make more music and and kind of push it.
Even just producing new stuff, right?
Even just producing new stuff.
I'm about to make you my lawyer. My lawyer. Yeah, we're going to finish this contract. We're going to go to a show right after.
Dude, it's so funny because I like daily advice for like a lot of guys that do like influencers or people that, you know, dudes that just make a lot of money that just, you know, on a day-to-day basis. Speaking, I mean, I talk to Adam almost like every day, every other day. And he runs like everything by me. And I advise him on a general basis. I mean, he's got, you know, he's got management, Leanne, shout out to Leanne, and he's got another lawyer, one of my favorite people actually, Andrew Borson in New York, super lawyer, guy's really, really good. I'm really good friends with Leanne. But I do a lot of work with Adam and I try to help him out as much as I can. It's funny, you know that Adam is like the king of props, right? You guys know this about him? Mm. So Adam, the reason everybody's always like, where did you get that? Like he always does like he extends things, like he exaggerates and gets the craziest props. So he comes up with like the craziest ideas. So he always calls me and he's like, yo, like, I think he called me at one point and he was like, hey, it was like 11 in the morning, or I think he called me at night first. It was like 10 at night. And he's like, hey, I'm like, what's up? He's like, can you give me a camel? And I said, what? Get you a camel? Like right now? He's like, no, I don't need to film it right now, but in the morning. It's like, bro, it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, get you a camel? And he was like, you think it's possible, or is that a no? I'm like, let me see what I can do. I ended up getting him a camel.
Shut up.
Dude. I got him a camel. His name's Herbert. Did you see my picture on my Instagram with Herbert?
I haven't seen it, dude.
Oh, you gotta go to my Instagram. It's like 4 or 5 pictures down. It's me and Herbert, the camel.
Oh, that's
It was actually, he wanted the video for Hannah. Him and Hannah were filming something. And that video ended up, that one, and they did one with the pony. And the video did like hundreds of millions of views. It was crazy, just like insane. So he always calls me for like some random, like insane prop that he needs. And it's always last minute. It's never like,
not now in the morning.
Yeah. Or like, hey, can
4 hours.
Can you get me this? And I'm like, at what time? And he's like, right now it's 1, maybe like 2. I'm like, bro, this is not how people plan. Like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I do that a lot. There's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, this is my lawyer. And then they're like, what? You're a lawyer? There's so many people that meet me now and they're like, yeah, Esquire. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, he's a lawyer. And I'm like, you're a lawyer? I thought you were a DJ.
Fun lawyer.
Music. I thought you do all this other stuff. I'm like, it's kind of odd. I do a lot of weird things.
I've been watching Better Call Saul.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Best prequel ever made.
Wow.
Because it's made by the same guys, right? Like Vince and
really good.
It's the best prequel ever made.
Wow.
Hands down.
So I got to watch it.
Yeah.
Does that in the show? Do they have someone that does things like Farshad
well,
over here?
I mean, he's a lawyer.
I think that's how we connected it. I was trying to get there.
Yeah. Like, so Saul obviously is like.
I was explaining for the audience.
Me and Brock were both like, wait, does this have something?
Saul's more of like a criminal lawyer. Yeah. Right. So it's like obviously
he's not a criminal
that
himself,
but like. No,
we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
He's like
he might be.
I guess it's not a perfect parallel. I love that show.
I'm messing with you. That's awesome.
It's just like Lawyer, the show I'm watching.
Did you guys ever see? I'm sure you guys have. You guys have seen obviously Lincoln Lawyer, right?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the rendition of it, like the TV show rendition of it? Yeah, it's really good.
What? Who's in that?
I don't actually know the actor's name. New guy, not like someone like super famous that you guys would know.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. I don't know. Actually, I'm not really good. So I'm like the worst person to talk about like movies and shows because I watch Friends every night to go to sleep. That's like my
dude. I rewatched Friends during COVID, during the lockdown. Yeah, from front to back. I'm like, dude,
I've watched it. I watch it every night. 2 episodes.
It's great.
The Office for me, same thing.
I have to. It's because I know what's going to happen, so my body gets into this mental state where it can actually like I don't have to. Oh, what's going to happen? Like I know what's going to happen. So I can just go to sleep.
And you can imagine it while you sleep and listen to it.
Yeah,
that's why. So The Office was famous for like not having a laugh track, right?
Okay,
and having very soft environmental sounds. Like everyone's wired.
Okay,
so but Friends has the laugh track still.
Okay.
So if we're going to bed, it's like harder with the laugh track, even though I can still do it.
Yeah.
Like The Office is just so crisp and like perfect.
So clean.
Like, yeah.
That's amazing.
But
I'm the opposite. I can't have anything on. Otherwise I'm like, I'm in. I'm like, doesn't matter what it is. I can't stop until it's done.
Really?
And then especially if it's something new.
So shut the computer.
Yeah. What I did is I couldn't sleep on planes, especially being big. I was uncomfortable all the time, but I just couldn't sleep on planes.
Your word is massive.
Massive. Okay.
Big is for people that are like, I'm big.
massive.
You're massive.
All right. I'm massive.
Yeah.
But what I did is I took this one meditation soundtrack. It was just, I found this random, like very like soothing calming,
sound.
you know, and I literally Pavlov-lawed myself when I have literally a sleep track of it plays on repeat like 200 times.
Wow.
And I put it in, and no matter where I am, within like 2 minutes, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I can't sleep. My frequency is just way too high. So in order for me to sleep, I have to take melatonin. And I've been taking melatonin for 7-8 years.
That's
now.
a good supplement though.
Yeah, but I don't take a lot. I take 3 milligrams, and I haven't upped the dosage at all.
Okay, cool.
So it's been the same.
Because I've heard,
in fact, I brought the dosage down. I used to take 6 milligrams. I dropped it to 3.
I've heard that there's been studies about melatonin where if you have too much of it, of an outside source, you know, like 5 milligrams, 6 milligrams, because you can really only produce, I think, 3 milligrams, that it does like, it's a
reverse effect.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, not good for you. I agree.
And I've had that too, because I've tried melatonin in the past to try and sleep, and it literally,
But people say they
I'll
get
pass
nightmares.
out and I wake up and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so uncomfortable now. Like,
Yeah, some people say they get nightmares.
I just get really groggy
I don't really
if I
get
take
nightmares.
something to
See,
sleep.
I
Like,
don't.
Yeah.
If I don't take it, I'll be up like this the whole night.
because you wake up with energy no matter what.
Yeah,
If
I wake up
yeah.
like ready
Yeah.
to go. I woke up this morning and I was like ready. I woke up at like 6:30, and I went to sleep at like 12:30 last night. I woke up at like 6:30, and I was at the gym at 7:30. And I played like 3 hours of basketball, and then I was fucking.
I like alternate between 6:30 and like 9.
Yeah,
But it's like-
I'm very much similar. For me, it's like more of a 7 or 7:30 is kind of my thing, but they start at 7:30 at the
That's
gym,
my
so I had
average.
to-
My average is like 7:38.
Yeah.
But like some days will be 6.
Yeah.
And then if I sleep in till 9, then I'm like, okay, what did I do?
Which is great.
I go through different cycles of life. I used to always feel like I needed to get up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever, every single day. And so I would do that, getting that flow of it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, dude, I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I'm watching the sun come up, you know, and getting all my emails done,
Yeah, your
everything.
inner Trace Thompson, huh?
Dude,
Shout out to Trace Thompson.
Yeah,
Craig
straight
brother.
up. Yeah, you
Guy's
tell
a
me he wakes
beast.
up and watches the sunrise every
And
morning.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Yo, this guy
And
wakes
Mikey.
up. Yeah, shout out to my. Oh, we can't.
The
leave
whole
Mike out.
Thompson
Shout out to
family.
the whole Thompson family. And Julie. Everybody talks about Michael Thompson. And everybody talks
Bobblehead
about
bros.
Julie. Julie's the best. Clay's mom is the best.
Before
Oh, so
you-
sweet.
She's
She's
Yeah.
the
funny.
sweetest person in the history of life.
We first got those, Will just got those bobbleheads a couple days ago, and he sent it to Clay. And then as soon as you walked in, you sent it to Clay.
Yeah, I
It's
took
pretty
a video. I
Oh,
sent it to him.
perfect.
I sent
Oh,
a
yeah.
video of it.
funny.
Oh, that's you.
Brock got
Yo,
that for my
what?
birthday, dude. Birthday
Yeah,
present.
That is so amazing. Wow.
But yeah,
That is sick.
just to finish up what I was saying about the sleep too, like I used to feel like I needed to do that, but now, like, I mean, I was up till 4 a.m. doing this audition, this massive audition that I had to work on. But now I'm just like, sometimes, you know, and I'm a creative, I'm naturally up at night, I'm wide awake, dude. I think best, especially like when I have my own space and it's quiet, right? There's no outside noise. So I have nights where, you know, I'll be in a cycle of like, I'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning every single night. And that's where I'm at. And that's where I'm at in life right now. And then later on, you know, a couple months down the road, I'll go back to that, you know, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., going to the gym right away.
Yeah, like
So I kind of just let life, you know, I will
But
structure
that's
it.
healthy.
Yeah, I'll structure it, but I won't like force it, I think,
Yeah.
too much.
But if you're
healthy.
like on a
That's good.
movie or something too, it's like you're getting 2 hours of sleep no matter what, so it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple documentaries and a couple things where like people talk about like people who are acting, and it's like the shit they put their bodies through, and I'm just like,
It's pretty
Oh,
intense. dude.
producing too, though, dude. You're like, if
Yeah.
you're producing, you're there
Yeah.
on set before the actors get there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
after, and planning everything.
The grips too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
anything that has to do with movies just
Anything
doesn't.
that has to do with
just-
It's
I don't know
work,
if I-
man. People don't realize how much, a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into making movies, making TV, making.
I've never, you know, it's so funny.
Wow.
I've never been huge on watching a lot of movies. I've always, I don't know why. It just never. I love watching movies. I never really had the time. I was always just like doing stuff, right?
But you got music
And
though.
I had music,
Yeah,
so that was my
yeah.
outlet. So interesting story. I was playing. There was a Ben Affleck did a celebrity like poker tournament in Vegas. This was like, I'm trying to put a finger on the date. It has to have been at least 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. And they hired me to DJ and this celebrity poker like tournament or whatever at the Venetian. And my buddy
Sounds-
Lee England, so weird, right? And my buddy Lee England was the violinist that they had. And my buddy was like the one that I guess recommended me to them and was like, yo, you guys got to bring, if I'm going to play, you know, if I'm the violinist, we need a good DJ. And this is, you know, if we're getting a DJ, this is the guy. So I go out there and here's the best part. They flew the Venetian jet, like this double-decker jet to like pick us up and then take us, right? I have no idea what to expect. I'm like, I don't know who's going to be there. I don't even know what I'm playing. I don't know I have no idea. I have zero expectation at this point. So me and my buddy Lee, we get on the plane and Liev Schreiber walks on the plane.
I worked for him on Ray Donovan.
So, okay, I didn't know about Ray Donovan at the time.
Okay.
Ray Donovan had just come out or had been out for like a year or two and supposedly was like super massive, like had a lot of push.
Huge, yeah.
I'm like the most clueless fucking guy in this history of like life when it comes to movies. Didn't know about Ray Donovan, but I obviously knew who Liev Schreiber was from X-Men because he played. He played Sabretooth, right? So I was like, yo, this is my fuck this guy. This is X-Men. Like this is the guy, you know? So he like sits next to us and we start talking about like poker. He was with one of his buddies. I forgot his buddy's name. His buddy was with us too. I forgot his name. Super nice dude. And we kind of just started talking and really nice guy and was like kind of, you know, talking about poker, talking about music. And he took a liking to music, but I didn't understand why. I didn't know why he was like so interested. I was like, there's all these other people on the plane that are like, you know, massive like movie people or like whatever, right? Like, why is he talking? Like, why does he want to sit with us or talk to us? Like, we're just musicians that are just going to go play for this, whatever, right? So then we show up, we play the show was actually really cool. Like they had a poker tournament and we were just kind of DJing and me and Lee just kind of like, he was violining to like certain songs. So I'd play like a, you know, acapella to something. He would come with the violin on like the actual beat to the song that he would be playing versus I'd be playing the acapella.
That sounds awesome.
It was really fucking cool. It's actually one of the most fun times that I've had playing a show that was like, it wasn't like a massive crowd. Everybody was like the who's who of like, you know, celebrity, movie star, whatever, right? But it was just fun. We were just enjoying it. And then we got done. And as soon as we got done, two of my buddies, you guys know that song, In My Mind? My mind, in my head.
Yeah. Love that one.
So my buddies, Phoenix Paul, they're the ones that produced it, right? Aiden and Josh. And they were playing, they had a residency at Dre's. So they had texted me and they were like, yo, you're in Vegas? And I was like, yeah, I'm playing this. I didn't tell anybody, but I was playing this like celebrity thing for like Ben Affleck. And they're like, dude, we're at Dre's tonight. And I was like, oh, dude, we're there. So I told my boy Lee, I was like, yo, when we're done, let's pack up quick. It was like 12 o'clock. I was like, let's pack up quick. Let's get over there. And let's go party with them. And he's like, I'm down. So we're like, as things end up, we're like packing up as quick as we can. And Liev Schreiber comes over and he's like, hey. And I was like, hey. And he's like, where are you guys going? I was like, oh, my buddies are playing at Dre's. And he's like, can I come?
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Can you? Yeah, come. I don't know. Yeah,
like, hell yeah, let's rock.
I didn't know what he meant. Yeah, of course, come. Yeah, sure. So he's like, all right, let's go. And I was like, you don't need like a security guard or like you don't have like a bodyguard or like you good? And he was like, yeah, let's go. So he ends up, we walk out of it. So we pack all our stuff, we put it in the room real quick. And then we head out of the Venetian and he's just like with us walking. And I just see everybody kind of looking at us like, yo, isn't that the guy from, I thought everybody was thinking X-Men. Everybody's for sure thinking Ray Donovan. Now that I obviously, because when I got back from like that trip, I saw Ray Donovan posters everywhere. And I'm like, oh, was I blind? Was I not like, I guess I wasn't paying attention to it because it just wasn't my show, right?
Yeah.
So we walk out and everybody's like watching us. And I'm like, and we just like run, we jump in a cab. There's four of us, right? It's me, it's him, his buddy, me, and my buddy Lee. And I text my buddies from Dre's and I was like, yo, like, you guys know who Liev Schreiber is? And they were like, yeah, like Ray Donovan. We love Ray Donovan. And I was like, dude, why does everybody keep saying this? Like, what is Ray Donovan? So I started Googling and I realized that, there's this show, Ray Donovan, that's like really big.
Shout out to BZ too.
Exactly. Our first guest was my boss on it, the producer, Brian Zurif. So shout out to him. And Liev, he was so nice to work for, man. Like
one of the greatest
exactly
people.
like you
Such
described
nice
him.
dude.
Yeah, just fucking awesome.
So
what did you guys get into?
So we go to the show. And my buddies were like, I was like, yo, I'm bringing Liev Schreiber. They freaked out. And they were like, yo, we're getting whatever bottles you want. Just they're to this day, it's like they're fucking like they're the mains, like they're so happy about it. Like, dude, you brought Liev Schreiber to a show. That's so sick. Like, it was just like, it was insane. And it was surreal for me too, because I didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I was just like, this is a random night, right? So we party, whatever, we drink, whatever, we head out. And he's like, hey, why don't like all of you guys come back to my room? And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. And we had like 20 people with us at this point. He's like, yeah, let's go back. He's like, we'll do karaoke in my room. And I was like, do you have a karaoke machine? And he was like, oh, I have a karaoke room. They gave him like the biggest suite at the top of the Venetian. It has like a karaoke room in it.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, so we go over there and we're in this karaoke room. People are doing karaoke. And then I realized like the room wasn't big enough for everybody. The room's not big enough for 20 people. It's big enough for like 6. So people were like kind of wandering around. And then I hear someone straight Mozart on the piano, like just going like Beethoven, like just going in on the piano. I'm like, what is going on? And so I'm like going through rooms to try and find this fucking piano. I can't find this piano for the life of me. And I'm like trying to find this piano. I end up to like living room like 3A, right? Which is, this thing's fucking sweet. It's so massive. I end up in living room 3A and it's fucking Liev Schreiber playing the piano like none other that I've never heard in my life. Wow. And I walk up to him, I'm like, yo, time out. Yeah. Flag on the play, offsides, clipping. Like, what? I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, like I grew up with a family of like musicians and I play like a bunch of instruments. And I was like, so then it clicked. I'm like, this is why he took a liking to the musicians that were with him, because he was like, yo, I'm in, like, I love music. So crazy story. It's a crazy
That's
story.
awesome.
Like, he's such a nice dude too. Then I came back and I saw every Ray Donovan poster on every like billboard. And I was like, yo, either I am the most blind motherfucker.
Biggest show on TV. Here we go.
Or they just put it up that weekend when I was gone. And then when I got back, it was all here.
That's probably what happened.
I like where your mind's at, Brock.
I think that's what happened.
It was basically it was like Homeland and Ray Donovan. And that's like, and House of Lies with Don Cheadle. Like those were the three shows for Showtime
that's what I heard.
For Showtime specifically, yeah.
So I started after I got back, I started watching it. Like I never, I'll be honest, I never really got into it, but like I watched a few episodes because I wanted to. I'm like, yo, and it's a really good show, great show, really good show. And then now when I get my haircut, this is like 3-4 months ago, I was getting my haircut, and what's the Angelina Jolie's dad? What's his name?
Oh yeah, John Voight.
John Voight.
He was awesome on set too.
So he walks in. I realized he was in Ray Donovan.
Did you meet all the Ray Donovan people?
So he walks in and he's getting his haircut right next to me, and my barber's like, yo, that's John Voight. And I was like, I know. You don't have to tell me. I know who it is. Like, I know. The guy's played in so many movies. Like, I know who this guy is. You know what I mean? And then I wanted to like kind of stop him and be like, hey, by the way, like, how's Lee? You know what I mean? Like,
no, for really sure. For sure.
So,
it's a
small world, man.
Midnight Cowboy,
super small
Anaconda.
Super small.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you were like the outdoorsman, bro. Golfing, fishing. You do the whole nine, bro.
We both are.
Well, I know. I mean, Brock lives in the jungle. There's a difference.
No, for sure. I grew up like for our real estate company, you know, we'd be in like Montana, right? And my dad would be like developing a golf course up there, and he'd have meetings all day. And it's like, what do I do with my two boys that are 8 and 10? And it's like, get a wakeboard boat. You know, we went to like one of the best guys in town, Ozzy, and he's like, you know, you take them out all day and get their energy out, or whatever. And then it became like a program called Outdoor Pursuits, where like every member can hire and like, you know, send their kids off with like great people to like take them on excursions and all that. And it really developed into something pretty cool. And now like every property has kind of their own unique like activity system based on the location.
That's how you know you made it, when you can say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Every property has its unique outdoorsy activity.
It's another massive benefit to being a member at Discovery.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Yeah. So Will, you made it. Congrats.
Well, you made it.
I was a small part of it.
Still a small part to a big chain. That's a big deal.
No, for sure. It was Troubadour was pretty cool too, because we learned a ton about everything they're doing at the Nashville property. We were like Allie Peters, who's the head of the department, and I mean they have like 50 kids a day that they just paintball and dodgeball and archery and you know, just kind of crazy.
They have so many activities that kids can go every single day of the summer and they won't repeat the same thing twice.
Jesus.
Think about that.
Go crazy.
Yo, what?
You're there like 30 days.
Level.
And like 80% of the members are full-time. They live there full-time. So imagine how many kids and families and people are actually there. So the amount of activities are off the charts, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Side note, is it just me or does Brock sound like Zeus?
Yeah.
When he's talking?
Gets that a lot.
You get it from my dad.
Like as he's talking, I'm like, yo, this guy sounds a lot like the movie of like.
I get it from my dad, Zeus.
So. Yeah.
Either Zeus or Poseidon, one or the other, bro. You sound like a Greek god. Jesus Christ.
We're working on
Dan and Shay, or we were with Shay Mooney from Dan and Shay. And he's like, that was like the first thing he said, like right on the
He does, right? I'm
like,
not crazy, right? I'm not crazy. When he started, like me and you were talking, we have like a distinct voice. And then he starts like, let me tell you. And I'm like, oh shit. This guy's about to drop some
outdoor pursuits.
Look at this guy, dude.
That's why I do what I do, man.
Yeah.
Yo, do you do voiceovers too?
I want to, man. I've never gotten into it.
You would kill the game, bro. You'd be like Morgan Freeman of like the new age, bro.
That's actually a really good point.
It's 100%. Dude, Morgan Freeman's like the #1 guy to like do voice. Like he's like,
insane.
In every movie, he's like the person that's like talking. What was that movie that
he does every voiceover, every intro?
Yeah, everything. He does the intro. And then he also does like, what was the one with Jim Carrey where like.
Bruce Almighty?
Was it Bruce Almighty?
Oh,
where he's God.
Yeah. Like that.
He is God.
Yeah.
And his voice is like.
Oh, it's insane. Dude, his monologues are like, you know it's a good movie if you hear Morgan Freeman as soon as you turn on the movie. My
favorite thing of what I've seen of him was in Batman, where he's like, so you think that your boss is out at night beating, criminals to a bloody pulp with his bare hands, and you want to blackmail this person?
Not a good plan.
And he's like, good luck. I just, oh man. It's like,
that was like a very distinct moment in that film that didn't even come from Heath Ledger or Christian Bale. It came from him. That's
crazy,
a good point.
right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yes. And I feel like Brock is the embodiment of that, dude.
The White Morgan.
Yeah, dude.
White Morgan.
Yeah.
Dude, Morgan Freeman is the man. Dude, he didn't get his start until, how old was he? He's at least 50.
I feel like he's always been the same age.
Right?
Everything I've ever seen Morgan Freeman play.
He was like 50 in Shawshank, and that was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
He's like one of the guys that never got younger, but never got older. Like the guy's always been consistently 58. Like has never aged a single day past that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
he's a legend.
I shaved my beard and I dropped 15 years, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like a different human.
I think I commented on Brock's picture, like, yo, you're coming back. Adam actually first commented, like, the dark side. And then I commented, like, Adam, you're not even part of the dark side. Your beard doesn't connect, bro. Just chill. And then
I thought you were saying it to me. I was like, wait,
no, your beard connects. Adam's beard. Me and Adam have an ongoing.
I've seen that,
it doesn't connect.
Adam is hilarious, man.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah, dude, your guys' videos together too. Like, I love watching your videos just to see him and you guys' reactions.
Oh, Adam Wahid?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Adam is, I love that kid.
I got to work with him on a short film called Tribes.
I remember that. You posted it and I was like, yo, and I think Day Storms was in it too, right?
Day Storm, Adam. It was
a good squad.
It won first place at LA Shorts, like won Montreal, the Quebec, Just for Laughs. I mean, it was a great short.
Wasn't it
but Adam was phenomenal in it.
It even got like, I don't know how far it went, but it was in the realm of the Oscars nomination.
We qualified for an Oscar nomination, which is still pretty cool.
Still pretty cool. I think it's pretty massive if you ask me. Like to be able to say that sentence. Yeah. It's kind of like your last statement. All the properties have. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was sorry. I was just like nodding in agreement and thinking about it. But the credit goes to Dave Storm and Adam and those guys for like bringing that to life. I mean, it was a 2 or 3 day shoot, and like we built this subway car set, and for like $30K, $20K. And it was like, that's all we needed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good.
The story was great. And it
was all the script. Yeah. Script and performances.
Yep.
Like
I saw you guys posting about it and I was like, wait, I know all these people. I was like, Will's posting it and then Adam's in it and Day Storms. I'm like, wait, well, I got to repost this. I was like, we posted it. I was like, these guys are it.
Yeah. Did I meet like Taylor Cut Films, Jordan, through you?
I think I brought that project to you. Like I had mentioned it or something.
The script. Well, I think obviously like, Jordan, you, like we did the Yellowstone Casamigos trip.
Yeah, and I knew Jordan from years, like at least a year or two before that.
Exactly.
We've been good friends. He was
so
hilarious.
Anything that came from Jordan would like transitively had come from you.
I think I think it was after you did the Big Short.
Big Break.
Big Break, sorry. Big Short's a different film. If you did that would have been awesome too. But yeah, so that I remember that. And then it was just one of those things where, obviously you've been executive producing, content and films and shows now.
Commercials.
Exact commercials.
That's
to that
sick.
point.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a great way to start off as a producer.
And what a great credit to you for having the eye of being like, yo, this is a project I want to get attached to. And like,
pretty cool.
We read that script and we're like, yeah.
I heard there's I heard that, in that world, and you obviously know more than I do in this, but I heard that there is a lot of politics. And so like getting to where you can actually, qualify for an Oscar, especially if you haven't been like in the game and don't have like a bunch of people like in your back pocket rooting for you, it's tough to even get to that point, let alone actually win.
I would say content is king, right?
Yeah.
So like,
for sure.
If you have a good product and it's good, you can get to these film festivals, right? Like you can apply, you can get attention from it. If even, let's say, no one, right? You're an aspiring film producer, whatever. If you have something good, people will find it.
Yeah.
But you have to do the work. You have to submit it. You have to market it. You have to do everything you can to get people seeing it. But credit to like the festivals for, watching tons of material and
selecting.
Yeah, exactly. Like my assistant worked on the board of a festival in New York, and all he did was just, watch films all day and, select. But it a lot of work
Sounds
into
like a
it.
good
But
life.
No, right.
if you know you have something good, get it out there. That would be my advice. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's easier now than ever to fucking put something out and blow up on a social media platform.
And with, people like Adam and Daystorm posting about it, it's game over. But
that's what our entire, civilization is based off, is storytelling, and stories from the past and whatnot. We're all storytellers in one way or another, whether we realize it or not, but it's what medium you're using and how you're telling the story. So like a lot of these social media guys, I'm one of them, I guess, technically.
Yeah, you are
too.
Yeah,
we all are.
Yeah.
You can tell a different form of story on social media, short form, and get your point across, or if you need something really, or you go a different route, films, movies. But it's just cool to see the way people show up and who's doing what, you know what I mean? And what people really relate to, because it could be a 60-second video, or it can be a 3-hour movie that moves you, and one of them can move you more than the other,
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Me and Adam talk about this all the time, and Adam's always like, we're kind of like, do you know what's going to blow up and what's not? And it's like, well, you kind of know what's good, but like what's going to blow up, like you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50. You look at something, like, oh, that's good, but it could flop. And it's the truth of the matter. So people come to me like, yeah, hey, how do I get something to go viral on TikTok or Instagram? I'm like, yo, listen, there's no answer. Like you just got to just put it out, and whatever goes viral, then you'll figure it out as it goes.
And as long as you like feel good about it, right? Like,
feel good about it. It looks good. It fits your creative mind, and you just move forward.
This is what was so crazy, and it's such a great idea. And I actually want to share this. Is Spencer last night was telling me we were working on something, and he told me there was a guy that posted. He created 7 TikTok accounts. He made the exact same. I haven't seen it, but
what happened?
He created 7 TikTok accounts. He made the exact same content for everyone, posted the exact same time. 6 of them failed. 1 of them blew up, and so he just kept running with that.
So what happens is he was basically giving people the idea or telling people that the way TikTok works is when you first start an account, it shadow bans the account. So it doesn't give it the chance to blow up just when you first start it.
They make you pay for it, right?
No, they want to kind of make sure that, if everything just hit the algorithm, people just make an account, put something up, right?
Right.
So they want to make sure that the person's real, the stuff is real, everything's real. But out of every, 7 or 10 of them, whatever, one of them ends up not getting shadow banned, and the content that's actually good could actually blow up. And so his point in that video, which was on, I think, Instagram, was that he made 7 accounts, and he put one of them, he put the same content at the same time, all variables the same.
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't shadow banned and it blew up. And so he deleted all the rest of the accounts. He kept that account as a main account and grew it to like 400,000 or 500,000 or something like that.
That's amazing.
Smart.
So
play the odds.
Yeah,
right?
play
the numbers.
A lot of tricks of the trade, but it's crazy. There's not really
there's no that's what I try to tell people too. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And what it was, even when I first started, man, is I understood it because the algorithms were more simple. I could figure out the algorithm from the outside perspective.
Can't do that no more.
You can't. I literally was like, I would spend so much time using the actual application, using Instagram, to the point where I was like, okay, this time of day, if I do these things, like if you get, like I would do everything you could imagine. I remember there was this Instagram that was massive in the fitness space at the time. And they would shout people out. Whoever won Flex Friday got the most likes on their photo. Well, I was like, well, I don't have the biggest following. I just started. But I knew if I put all the top 100 and whatever hashtags, and you have to do them in sections 30 at a time, and you maximize all the auto likes that come on there, I would do that, delete them, do the next ones, delete them, and then I would win Flex Friday. I get a big shout out. Then I get a big influx of people following me. And I was like, there's little things, and shout outs for shout outs at the time worked. It doesn't do anything now, like very little. But even just the algorithm of how to post and when to post is just so different. And now it's like, well, if you're not paying, you're not really getting anything now, which it sucks.
So annoying, so difficult.
I've seen.
I mean, you have to understand though. You know that you're ahead of the curve, like the normal person, right?
What do you mean?
Well, like, so for example, if like they shouted like a hairy Persian guy out on like a random page, he's not getting followers. Like nobody cares. Nobody wants to follow a hairy Persian guy like me.
You have a lot of followers.
They shout you out, and you look like a Greek god. This guy looks like has the physique of a mannequin at Nordstrom's, and then also really, really, amazing long hair, looks like Poseidon. Like, yeah, dude, every girl is, I guarantee you that your following is like 99.999% female.
It's pretty high female.
There's like maybe 3 or 4 dudes following you, and I'm one of them. Me and Will are 2.
Yeah, just all the homies, and they're like, damn it, why am I following this
few
idiot?
homies, and that's it, bro. No. I'm always like, yo, I want to see Brock post some shit, because he always posts some like,
oh yeah, his game's on point.
And if I ever want to go camping, I know who I'm calling. So,
oh man, dude, best person to camp with in the entire world, 100%.
Well, he lives in the jungle,
dude. He's like,
I wish
I had like my little $50 tent from REI, and I'm like sleeping on the desert floor, and I'm like tripping out that there's like things all around us late at night. I'm like, dude, I hear stuff, and so he like come out of he's in this like tent for kings on the top of his truck, and I'm like, dude, like look around. Is there anything out there? He's like, there's nothing effing out there.
Comes out with like a Rambo knife.
We
like a fucking headband on and shit.
We drove like 20 miles in the middle of a desert to where there was literally nothing. There couldn't have been. If anyone was crazy enough to come, they would have died before they even made it there.
No one could get to us out in the middle of nowhere though, too. Like, but we, there's people like dirt biking, and we were close to a few like off-road tracks. So it's not like unheard of that there'd be people
Absolutely.
there.
But that's also one of my favorite things about nature too, is that it's as equally beautiful as it is scary. It's like, it makes you feel alive you're like, holy crap, I don't know what kind of animal could run. Like a pack of coyote can come out of nowhere and tear up my tent, or some random wanderer will come out here, So it puts you a little on edge, but it's also peaceful and grounding at the same time,
And I like having we brought Penny with us.
Yeah.
And like
chase out the bears.
Well, it's good her ears are like bigger than her head, right? So she hears everything. So like if she's not worried, and she smells everything too. So like if she's not worried, then I'm not worried, because her scope of sense is like way larger than mine. Yeah. So
for sure.
The Basenjis have a crazy, back lineage of even what they use them for in Africa too. They breed them and train them to take on lions.
Yeah, they hunt.
So when I was kidding and said bears, you were being serious when you responded to lions.
So
absolutely.
One of her parents saved its owner from a bear. The owner was stuck in its barn, and there was a black bear outside, and literally like, He tested it by like trying to leave, and every time he tried to leave, the bear would like put its head up and look at him, and like so the bear would not let him leave. And the Basenji came running down from the house, sees the bear, sees the owner, literally runs circles around it, starts barking and like howling. They don't really bark; they kind of like howl, which is better for those situations, because higher frequency and like higher pitch will scare the bear. Bear gets annoyed and walks off. It saved the owner's life from like a bear attack. Penny's mother or father.
Hyper intelligent and extremely fast. Like that's one of the things.
The bear's not catching it.
Exactly. And that was one of the things that they did with lions too, is like they would outsmart it and then be too fast for the lions to even catch it. So she is like a very special, one of a kind little hypoallergenic sweetheart.
Yeah. Little hypoallergenic sweetheart.
I like that.
Yeah,
I knew there was something wrong when I was like, save you, like run off bears. And then you guys both didn't even laugh. You both just were like,
that sounds about right.
I was like, oh shit, these guys are being serious. We're
looking at each other. Oh, he knows.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, shit.
Imagine like 5 of them, right? In Africa, if you're hunting with like 5 of them, they just run circles around the lion, confuse the hell out of it. And then the hunter comes in and it's game over. But
wow. And you have 3 dogs too, right?
I have 3.
Would they ever take on a bear?
Tell us about them.
No, my dogs would probably give me to the bear. I have.
You look like you take on a bear, dude.
Nah, bro. If I'm picking one of us at this table to take on a bear, I think me and Will are both picking you.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain.
Lucky me.
And I think Spencer. Spencer.
You'll buy his time.
I'll figure out a way. I'll either scare it off or I'll like try to become friends with it.
And I think it's probably smart for the bear to just choose a friend option. I'm not gonna lie. So I have a big golden doodle, I have a mini golden doodle, and then I have a Yorkie. They look like a Wi-Fi signal when they stand next to each other. Yeah, because they kind of go down.
That's awesome.
The big one is actually the middle one. His mom is the big one's sister, so it becomes kind of like his uncle.
Yeah,
but he's a mini, so he was his mom, which is Maverick, the bigger one's sister, mated with a mini poodle, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
A miniature poodle. Kind of a weird mix. So he's got like these little weird small arms that like face outwards. He's so cute.
But it probably helps with like shedding and allergies, right?
Because they're both, I mean, all dogs shed. I mean, there's nothing you do about it, but they're very minimal.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, dude.
I appreciate you guys having me, by the way.
Thanks
This
for
was
coming
so
on,
much
bro.
fun.
This is awesome. I'm going to do the intro for Johnny. I want you guys to, Johnny Sheehy.
Dude,
I want you guys
we
to
would
bring
love
him
to
on.
have
He's
him.
fucking great.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Good
That'd be
dude.
awesome. Thank
really,
you, man.
really good dude, of course. And I appreciate you guys again.
Dude.
Will, Brocky, shout out to
brother.
Morton for making this happen. Bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
man.
Right?
Love you, Morton.
We love you, Morton. We really do. You're a good man.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.
Thanks for tuning in to Studio 22.